Hey Thomas, how you doing?
Oh my god. Let's jump into it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And if you're no stranger here, our main show today is be covering House by the Cemetery by Fulci's by
Lucio Fulci.
thank you, yeah, Lucio
Yes.
Fulci. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and but before we get started here, I wanted to always do our usual uh, bump of our YouTube. And bear with me here. We're gonna do. I gotta switch the account around. Whatever. Meh, 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 meh.
Mer- mer- mer-
Uh,
mer.
yeah, yeah. Real quick, we have an ever-growing back catalog. Last week we went through three. We put out three videos. Anyway, we'd love it if you could comment, like, subscribe, or even dislike. That's fine too. Or see if you want to see us cover something that we haven't even talked about or touched. But I bet you, if you go check out our back catalog, you'll find something that you'll like. You may not agree with us, but we don't really throw the band hammer down on what's good and what's bad. We don't do that. We just try to cover
No.
cool stuff that we find interesting or new, mainly new, especially to me in the horror genre. Which brings me back to this week's coverage of the House by the Cemetery. So so we
Yeah.
we kind of got in a little pre-conversation there. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and then you were saying, let's jump into it. By all means, go first, my friend.
My Mike was like, "What the f is going on here?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I have no idea what's going on." Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
there's you know before this movie and before I had kind of a idea behind this, I have to say that I have to say that you know the fact that this could be like an AI kind of taking in like the you know what Stephen King could do to a story and like putting it through an AI and putting it through, and yeah, this is what the outcome is. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I see
kind of
that.
makes sense. This kind of
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. I kind of caught it from a few different angles. One I know we both love, and we've waxed poetic before, was The Shining. This I'm not
Hmm.
going to put it up there with the quality of The Shining because it's not in the same league, but I will
No,
say
no.
this definitely could very easily be placed in that universe, and
Hmm.
you can kind of see that there is whatever your opinion on the quality or not or whatever, and that could be due to a few different things, but to be positive, this was set in a trilogy, I believe.
Hmm.
So it kind of makes sense how you might have some missing questions, and I wonder if those would be answered if we go back and watch the other two films that are tied into this. And I know we were trying to maybe swing for two this week, but I didn't. I just didn't get into it until
No, no.
this week.
Yeah,
But that's okay. That's okay.
yeah, that's okay because like the fact that they try to get back under the stairs, like yeah, every time they were like, yeah, let's go back under the stairs.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it was like very. I I like the fact that there's there's like uh I I think it like the second time like the kid gets under the stairs, um there's like this sense that like, oh my god, he's there, and like the bad guy like pushes his head against the the door, and like the dad's like trying to cut through the door to get to his son, and that seems like really effective.
Yeah. I found I understood for the most part what was going on, and to set the table for the audience, so what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
This is very broad brushstrokes. It's basically the plot revolves around a family who moves into a
Hmm.
house that is believed to be haunted by a ghost of a doctor. who murdered his wife and mistress in the house.
Mm.
There's questionability there whether he committed suicide, whether he unalived himself or not, or whatever. But in any
Oh
case,
my
it
god! Like the guy that was like um the guy that's in the research in the he's like researching the stuff. Yeah, that guy was like really interesting.
yeah, and I also got how did I put it to you? I think I said something along the lines of like the house, like this movie is like another look, like on the mirrorverse, from that one photo in The Shining.
Hmm.
And that if that kind of makes sense, like it feels like it's somewhere in that universe of The Shining, but it's the kind of like the basement tier one of
Hmm.
it. And I also got echoes of Frankenstein too from this. Very much like they didn't even hide it. For and I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is, a 40
Yeah,
plus year old
yeah.
movie. But some of the things I did like were like it takes like I can see like why in my research it said that it wasn't released in the United States until 1984 or something like that.
I think
And it was,
so. Yeah,
yeah, it was heavily edited and different than the
yeah,
initial
yeah. It's like
version, and
very
there's a reason for that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The graphic violence in it is like very in your face.
Hmm.
In this, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like like old school, or I don't know if it's old school, but longer cuts on the gore that are
Hmm.
just there for
Hmm.
like you don't move from that, and so some of this
Hmm.
was a little bit funny, like when the bat attacks, when the bat is like when they go down to the basement the first time they explore the house, and they're like seeing what's what, and then there's
Oh
like
my god!
cobwebs
Yeah, the
everywhere.
bat,
Yeah,
the bat.
yeah,
I mean,
eh, yeah, and then like
that's
there's
like long, long, long cuts on the bat.
yeah, that was the longest I've ever seen. It's so
Oh my
he's like
god! Yeah, it's like oh
dispatch
my
a
god.
bat. Yeah, and he's like, like trying to it like clamps onto his hand or whatever, so maybe there's some kind of supernatural strength there or whatever, but
Oh yeah.
he's like trying to wing it off, and like and then all of a sudden he's got scissors, and then he like blood's flying in his kid's face and his wife's face and on the wall, and well, they didn't show the wall, but it would have been a mess everywhere. But
Yeah, it's
um
yeah. It seems like there there's like this. I don't know. There's like this kind of like this kind of combination of what European sensibility is and what what the U.S. kind of what you can kind of contextualize with the
right.
U.S. kind of person, and the way that it kind of combines it together. It's like very interesting.
No, it is. It is kind of like another take on how horror could be delivered to an American. Of course, I don't think this was expressly made or written to be released to an American audience, to be honest with
Right.
you. But when it did come over here to our shores, it is
Yeah.
interesting how those sensibilities are different than, like, say,
Hmm.
what was just starting to catch fire in the United States for the horror genre. And I am not going to pretend to reel off
Yeah.
a bunch of ones on that side. That's your bag. But
Yeah.
it it, it um it
Yeah. It's sort of like how you throw like Stephen King into a UI, and this is what you get out. you know, and it's very much like, oh my god, this is what you get out of a UI, but
yeah.
this is not. This is totally before a UI.
Right, right.
Uh, this is sort of what you get.
Yeah, that and going back to the practical special effects on the movie. Now, obviously, some were over the top, whatever. But there
Uh-huh.
were some that were pretty good, pretty damn good,
Hmm.
in my opinion. And I think in my
Oh my
research
god, yeah,
too,
like the
that
first couple of scenes in it, like
yeah,
like the I mean, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, Gino De Rossi, I think, was the German special effects artist who did,
Hmm.
who also worked on Fulci's other films like Conan the Barbarian, and
Hmm.
which we, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't. That's the one with Arnold, or no? Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Okay, then
Yeah.
I've seen that
That's
one.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, then I've seen that one, and I
Hmm.
have never seen the other one, which is the Last Emperor. I have no idea what that one's about, but
Hmm.
in any case, like they the like the bat ones are like kind of like ridiculous, but
Hmm.
like when they confront Frankenstein, so to speak, I'll just call him Frankenstein for now. And there's a scene like where the husband, like is defending himself, and it's like they get the maggots, and it's just friggin' gross. Like it's just like poop blood or something, or just something disgusting. Like that, just
Well,
the special effects were remarkable.
there's like the scene like there's like when they're trying to get the house. There's like a scene where the woman's like, "Oh, well, you've been here before," the dad, and then like there's another scene later on where the guy in the um, library is like, "Oh, you've been here before,"
Right.
it, and he's like, "No, I haven't." And there's like this, there's like uh, this thing where like, "Oh, well, you've been here before." That's going to come back, but that never does.
Yeah,
And I wonder, yeah, yeah. There's
there
like
were a
this.
few things like that,
Hmm.
like the photo. Like they don't
Hmm.
really go back into the photo thing again, like where
Hmm.
the kid, basically the kid sees his photo, and he
Hmm.
sees a little girl, or this creature, whatever you want to call it, and
Hmm.
then he's like, oh, and then they have this little kind of dialogue that kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't, like where they're
Hmm.
like, where, well, I knew you'd be back, or something like that, something to that effect.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and they don't really kind of go back into that. That's why it kind of reminded me of The Shining in some way.
Uh-huh.
But I think and maybe for all we know, if we knew Italian or the native language this was cut in, maybe
Hmm.
it would make a little bit, maybe it would be a little bit smoother. Just being fair.
Hmm.
Hard to tell. The one I watched was on Shutter. So that was just
Yeah.
that one. But it was it was interesting. Like, I wonder how much smoother that would be in a native language.
Yeah, I know that from what I read, like the kid, the boy Bob, and we have to talk about that. So,
We will.
Bob,
Yeah, we.
Bob, and the girl are the only ones that are dubbed in the movie. Like the rest of them are voiced by the actors. But yeah.
Yeah, there was this scene. Well, I might as well bring it up now. Like
Hmm.
I just was like, I was kind of chuckling at, and I didn't know how to take it from the standpoint of like, was it edited that way on purpose, or and there's something lost in translation, or if the director actually meant that to be in there. And what I'm talking about is there's a scene in the movie like where it's morning time, the mom comes into the kitchen,
Oh my
and
god.
yeah, the Anna, the servant gal, or the helper, whatever you want to call her, the au pair, whatever you want
Hmm.
to call her, is like, it. It looks like she's like cleaning up blood,
Cleaning the
because
blood. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like, why is she cleaning up the blood,
yeah,
and why
and
is it she, the mom, noticing the
right,
fact that
right,
there's
yeah,
blood? Yeah.
and what makes it even more confusing to the audience is right before that is a very graphic murder scene,
Hmm.
like where this woman is, slowly poked to death, literally, by this
Yeah.
thing. So anyway, so it goes to that, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like mom's like, oh, coffee? Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem. I'm just
Yeah.
cleaning up gallons of fucking blood on the floor.
Yeah.
No problem. Like, and then later on, the mom is like, talks to the dad and was like,
Yeah.
"You're kind
So
of a weirdo."
yeah. So you wonder if the girl is involved in all of this.
Right.
But you realize later that she's not, because
Right. They
the
sure
the
try hard to make that connection, or make you think that anyway.
yeah, yeah, and the oh my gosh, yeah, yeah, it's you have to wonder, about this whole thing, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
no, yeah, how this all pans out, how it all. But yeah, yeah, it's um, yeah, I don't know. I still love this movie because this how Bob and the girl and all the weird stuff that goes before it.
Yeah, the and honestly, some of the acting, like by the mom and the dad, were well, the mom was a little bit sketch, sometimes,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the dad and the kid, for the most part, it was fine. You know, it's not going to
Hmm.
win. It didn't win any awards, obviously, but um,
Yeah, what was the name of um Curious George was his like doll that he
yeah,
had, but
that
what
he had a
was
bright pink pistol,
um
like that he like, and of course, this is kind of it's in some ways it's kind of cute because like I can't I think Anna, I think the helper, the au pair
mhm,
is like yelling for help or something, and
mhm,
she's like trapped or and the other thing too is they jump cut too much.
mhm,
And they do that thing that with movies, and they've always done this from early movies till now, like where they jump too much and you're like, where the fuck are they? Where the fuck are you?
mhm.
Like, are you in the basement? Are you under the stairs? Are you in the attic? Where the fuck are you? Which is annoying, part of my language, but I get like it's like so he's like so he hears her and then he's like, "Oh, gotta save the day. Oh, got the
Mhm.
flashlight. That's a good idea. Oh, get the teddy bear," which makes sense because you're a little fucking kid. And then all of a sudden, oh, get that plastic pistol. It was kind of cute.
Yeah.
Kind of cute, but
Right, yeah. It's like he was like getting there everything good together to go downstairs, and it's like
right.
yeah, it's like oh
Get
my
caught in
god.
the
But
door.
yeah.
With your mom or whatever. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Fuck all you're gonna do. Like you're gonna do anything, Bob. But good, Bob. And like I guess I kind of like I was gonna say well what was some
And
other
again, Bob is like direct reference to Possession. The
right.
the kid from Possession is Bob.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't catch this, and
Hmm.
I'll need to rewatch it. Well, not rewatch it, but like go back through and find this scene. But there was one scene where the director played himself, but it was a brief scene as a librarian. I don't know
Oh
if that
yeah, yeah,
I
right.
don't believe that was the one of the things that I
Yeah, like right
wanted to
at the
know.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah. What was I
yeah.
gonna say?
No, he was like the instructor, like right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. It had classic horror kind of tropes and kind of
Hmm.
scene setting. I think I do like how despite some of the slower pacing of it, it never got on my nerves at all.
Hmm.
But I would say like despite that though, you can tell there's world building
Hmm.
or there's a architectural thing going on because I guess this was the last film in that trilogy that I mentioned before. So you kind of it despite itself, it's still contiguous unto itself. So like you still have that world building, but I guess when I left off with it, I guess I left off with like a question mark more than anything else because they end with that quote, something about children aren't monsters, but monsters are children. I don't know what the fuck that meant. I didn't get that,
Yeah,
and I
it's
also
it's
didn't get
a
the ending to like. Maybe you can shed some light on that for me. I don't know, but
yeah, it's a James Henry quote, but it's not really a James Henry quote. It's like it's like totally not. It's a Lucio Fulci quote, and but yeah, it's basically that children are monsters,
I guess
and
so.
yeah, the movie is like it kind of leaves off where yeah, I love the fact that like everyone pretty much dies except for the kid, and yeah, it's like total destruction. Yeah, the mom, dad, everyone dies. and the kid kind of like makes it through, but does he?
Well, that's kind of
question mark.
yeah, and then there's that other girl there, which
Mhm.
I guess was the girl that started the whole at the start of the movie, like where
Mhm.
the boy he's looking at some old timey photos
Uh huh.
on his dad's bureau or whatever, or desk or whatever it is, or mom's
Mhm.
whatever, and he sees in, and he's really into the thing, and you can see this girl that's like kind of pressed against the glass, that's like kind of sort of creepy, like The Shining, kind of
Yeah.
creepy, like that one photo scene that I was talking about, like where it
Yeah.
has
She's like,
Jack in.
go away.
Right, right, yeah, yeah, her warning,
Yeah.
like go away, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then I did think that I did catch this part that kind of stuck out at me, and I don't know if it's relevant or not. But when they're like figuring out when they're moving and stuff, I don't know, which also didn't know what the fuck was going on there. But they left, again, different era. They left the kid in the car, and then they're going back, and meets up. He sees this girl across the way or whatever with this doll
Mhm.
or something, and she's like, "I told you to stay away," and he says something to the effect of, "Parents never listen, or parents do what they want to do," or something like that. And I was like,
Mhm.
"All right, all right." And of course, the parents are going back, and they're like, they cut to the old school Buick station wagon, which brought me back anyway. Never mind that, because we grew up with a couple of those growing up. But like,
Right.
and they're looking in the car, and the kids nowhere to be found, and then they're like, horror and shock, whatever, and then you kind of pan over, and then they see like, oh, he's just
Mhm.
there playing with the creepy fucking doll, the Anna doll.
Yeah, it's like I, I don't know. I love this movie
Yeah.
because, like, I think the thought behind it was that they were going to make a kind of movie that kind of represents H.P. Lovecraft, and this movie like totally does not represents H.P. Lovecraft at all. But the fact that yeah, it's um kind of ties into this kid with this doll, and the fact that like the two kids are like the two people that they like do the voices for for the movie, like you know, it kind of takes you out of the whole thing. I know like with Italian movies, they try to do the voices over for most of the voices of the movie, but yeah, it just I don't know.
I I'm with you. I don't. I'm not gonna say it was terrible or that I wouldn't revisit it. I would probably want to see the other two movies,
Hmm.
and then maybe go back and watch this one and see how it fits in, because I think if I did that, I think that it would really shed a lot of light on what the hell was going on.
Hmm.
And the kind of the frustrating part for me was like, you can see if you've been watching these movies, like not just horror, but if you're more than a casual viewer of movies, which I think we qualify for. Not We're not
Hmm.
professionals, but we've seen a
Right.
lot of these, and you tend to see patterns and habits, like uh, Denis Villeneuve. Like when he has a vision, he has
Hmm.
world building is paramount, character building is paramount. The thrust, the plot, the everything is like in and out, but you can see the grander scope of like
Hmm.
what he's trying to do. I got that sense a lot with this movie. Um, did it deliver on everything? Nah, I would not say so. But it wasn't. I don't know how
Yeah.
to. I don't. I just don't know. I guess I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't know how to take it.
Yeah.
I've seen. It's by far, it is not the worst movie I've ever seen. Like, it
No.
has something to tell you, and I think for me, it
It's like
provokes just enough curiosity for me to hang in there and see what the fuck is going on, because I am interested to see what is
yeah,
going
it's
on.
like yeah, it's like, oh my god, are they going back downstairs? Are they really going back downstairs again? Like, oh my god.
Right.
Yeah, that was the big thing. It's like every time they went back downstairs, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. it just and it kind of is the trope, like the old creepy house, like the
Hmm.
and they did I
They
have
did.
to
They
say.
did a good. They did a good job. Like the very first, the first few scenes, like when the kid was crying and the
Hmm.
dad was like going to room and noticing that the kid was asleep
Right.
when the kid was crying. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, yeah,
And
and
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, and then he went downstairs and like the the aunt the girl that was the au pair was like trying to pull the planks from the door. I was like, okay, yeah, that needs to be explained, and then that wasn't explained. It's like, okay,
Yeah, they're also kind of funny, unique ways of death, murder, I guess. That's kind of the other thing. It's like you're kind of like on this nice edge, like where there's this evil presence, this the old doctor who obviously apparently went
yeah,
insane or something happened there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you're kind of like you have jump scenes like where you're not sure if you're actually looking at a real murder or if whatever, because there's like kind of a little dialogue over top of things, like where they kind of they imply that one of the dead bodies is a child as well.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's like this moanful voice that says, not the children, or not, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, well, it kind of, I think in a good way, it sucks you more into this vortex of
Yeah,
what the hell.
yeah. What the hell's going on? And there's like that guy that is in the library. I forget what his name is, but yeah, he's like there when the dad is there researching it on the Sunday when there shouldn't be someone there, and the
Hmm.
guy's like, "Oh, I didn't know you'd be there." But yeah, that guy was so weird. I love that guy. I don't know. I don't know if he was hired just to be weird, but yeah, he was just so wonderfully weird.
Yeah, I would agree with this. The film is praised for its atmospheric,
Hmm.
really wordy. And I would agree with that. Like I said, that goes into like, you can tell that there's more to this world, this universe, than
Hmm.
just this movie. Um,
Hmm.
for whatever that may or may not be. But I was gonna say, well, I watched this on Shutter. But I just brought up our classic Just Watch. And like where
Hmm.
you can see just about anywhere. The Shutter version was perfectly fine. The quality was
Yeah.
actually really good.
Hmm.
I was by that. I don't know what I was expecting, but kind of going into this, like I just like I was gonna say, yeah, there were unique deaths, unique murders, like
Hmm.
antlers. One.
Yeah, like the very first couple of scenes of it, there's like there's like a couple of scenes of death that are like gratuitous, that are like in your face and like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't the one woman who the one scene that I was talking about right before the kitchen coffee scene there, whatever,
Hmm.
like where it's just no big deal, we're just cleaning up blood, a bunch of blood on the
Hmm.
floor. Like aside
Yeah.
from that, putting that
Yeah.
aside, like how was she like I missed that. Like she got her leg caught, so she was trapped, but
Yeah.
then like
Yeah.
what the hell trapped her leg? I didn't get that. I didn't understand that.
Um.
If you remember.
Yeah. There was like this gravestone in the middle of the. Uh. I don't know if it
Like
was like
floor or something,
in
or
the middle of the
hallway.
floor. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she like broke her foot through the middle of it, and she couldn't get it out. And yeah. So yeah, it's like she was stuck, and the bad guy is like, oh yeah, okay.
And and every friggin attack or murder is like is fucking it's a slow train. It's
Yeah,
like
it's it's slow and brutal.
yes, very very slow and deliberate and methodical, which carries its own sinisterness under because this guy's
Hmm.
unconcerned. He goes, "There's not cops aren't coming. You know,
Yeah,
the priests aren't coming. Your buddy from out of town who's going to save the day. They're not coming."
yeah, and that's one of the things that I like about the movie, in that, like, at the very big, spoiler alert, like at the very end of the movie, like everybody is at risk. Like the dad and the mom are totally at risk. The kid is at risk, and you're like, oh my god, is this kid gonna get killed in it? And like, the big question is, did he actually get killed in it?
Right, right.
And yeah, the I definitely recommend, watching this movie and seeing if you can figure out what's going on in this last bit of movie. Is this kid getting killed, or is he moving on and being rescued by this ghost girl?
Right. Yeah. You're left with at best you're left with the sense that this house has come some kind of gateway or nexus
Hmm.
to unimaginable horror, hell,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it, or something like that. And the monster there, like here's the one like toward the end of the movie.
Bob.
Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, there were some architectural things in this house that were really cool, like the French doors there that go into an office or wherever the hell they go into in the house. That is behind them. Yeah, this is the Madame or whatever. That is the it's kind of like okay, all
Okay,
right.
what was Curious Bob being called? I forget.
Curious Bob. I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
catch that. Like
yeah. Or Curious George. I know
I didn't.
that.
I don't
Yeah,
remember. Like
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I don't remember. But I know what you're talking about. Like where he
yeah,
grabs
yeah,
the thing and he's like, "We got to go save Anna" or something like that. And
yeah,
then yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And this is the again. We're
The
not really
creature.
spoiling a
Yeah.
40-year-old movie. But this is the creature. This is the previous doctor or the ultimate administrator of death, the death giver, I guess, death bringer. Yeah, I don't I get kind of like
Yeah, I,
that
I got the sense that Anna was going to be this evil creature.
that's how they
That
played it
Yeah,
through. The one
yeah.
thing I would praise about this movie is they don't just show you okay, so like a horror movie to talk about the table that we kind of set before. In
Hmm.
most horror movies, it's you, the audience, that is being shocked and horrified. Rarely do they take you out of like the general horror, the scary thing of the thing, but at different points they plop you into individual characters like kind of mindsets. Like
Hmm.
the mom is already uneasy with this Anna. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
She has a flashback of like that creepy doll.
Hmm.
In a couple different things like where the eyes are like this person is supposed to very closely match this doll thing.
Hmm.
So I took that as being not the audience being horror, but you are like kind of putting the mom shoes for a split for a few scenes to see, oh well, I don't something's weird or something's off by this. Um, but she wasn't her intuition wasn't picking up on the on the thing that lives in the basement.
Yeah, it's like the mom was like, she wasn't taking her medication, so it's like, okay, yeah, yeah. So she wasn't aware of all the weird stuff that was going on.
Oh right,
Uh,
right. That's true. She
yeah,
was like on some kind of medication or something.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But the dad was like, oh my god, okay, so he's not where he's supposed to be, because like, everybody's saying like, "Oh yeah, you've been here before,"
Hmm.
and so like there's like the so many layers to this movie that don't matter because like at the center of it, there's just this creepy guy in the cellar uh that's trying to just incorporate everybody that's there. It I don't know. It's just, uh
You kind of
there.
had a Frankenstein like replace the body part so you can be immortal or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
There might have been something other, but this is that from that scene that I was talking about, and it's obviously
Mm.
clear she's not cleaning up blood. Like from like if you catch it quick enough, but like just the jump cut was too much.
Mhm.
You're just like, wait, hold on a second. Your
Yeah.
brain your brain wants to find patterns like it normally does, and it's just like,
Yeah, absolutely.
hold on a second, what the hell?
Yeah.
But it could have just been that's why I kept saying I got echoes of The Shining, like because there's
Mhm.
all kinds of that shit. But the difference between The Shining and this one are it's woven in such a way to
Yeah.
mind fuck you, but not disturb you too much in the flow of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
If that
it's
makes sense.
yeah, it's absolutely like taking what you think a Stephen King novel would be and putting it into an AI machine, and
Yeah,
this is what you get.
I'd agree with
And
that. Yeah, on the
it's
spot.
very, yeah, it's very interesting, but yeah, it's at the end it's not very satisfying, but but it's very interesting at the end of it.
Right, right. Yeah, there are compelling aspects that cut through. Some of the
Hmm.
other kind of things that kind of uh, uh, jut you out of the
Hmm.
film a little bit. Not too much to like where you're like, oh, I can't watch this. But
Yeah.
and this is like one of the scenes that they show over and over and over again with this doll as like
Hmm.
foreshadowing.
Hmm.
Basically, I think like this is like like this has bad juju. Do not come here. Do not go
Yeah.
here. Like that's aside from
Yeah, it's
that.
like the girl like keeps saying, "Do not enter this house. Don't go here."
Right.
And yeah, and like there's like a certain part through the narrative where like the family's like, okay, yeah, we need to get out of this house, and like after that point, it's like ignored. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just go get groceries
Right.
for the house.
Oh, it's no big deal. Here, let me give you some
Yeah, yeah,
groceries.
yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. And Bob, yeah, Bob. There's weird stuff going in the basement. Yeah, okay, Bob, you can go in the basement.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie for the '80s. If you want to like dissect it as far as why they're doing the things that they do, yeah, you're not gonna find reasonable things as far as they're like trying to prolong what they're trying to get to at the end of the movie. So yeah, everything that they do is just to get you to stay longer in the basement.
Yeah. That's the kind of the central horror engine of the house is that I was trying to see I was gonna say what was it? I think we covered most of the things
Hmm.
other than like background, like the believe the filming location for the movie is in Rochelle Park, New Jersey. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
they
the house is
filmed it
built.
in Boston, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I
Hmm.
believe. Yeah. I was gonna say what's some more cool facts here? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's just the two kids that they did the voiceovers for.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
it says that it was shot in 3 weeks. Some scenes were filmed in just one take, which makes
Mhm.
sense. I
Yeah.
definitely believe that. I definitely believe
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Duh. Okay, right. All right. So Freud, Freudstein, right? So it was
Hmm.
obviously that's why that's where Frankenstein came from. Obviously,
Oh
there's
yeah.
reference to that. Like they don't. Although I did, I think the woman's name where for the child service or the au pair service or whatever agency or whatever the hell they call it, was a Gigglestein or something or something a little
Yeah,
bit
the
silly.
fact that they were like, okay, yeah, she's gonna be your au pair, and like she's there, and like, okay, yeah, yeah, sure, and then like at the very night that she's hired, she's like pulling through the stuff that like bars the door to the basement. It's like,
Right.
okay, yeah, it's like, what the fuck is she doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That and then the very final scene, like where Bob kind of sort of escapes, but not really. It's
Yeah.
like, where the fuck are you go? Where are you going? Like, where are you poking your head out through?
Hmm.
I didn't understand that in relation to the house, but that could just be me watching it and trying to take it all in.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I was gonna say the oh shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, apparently it was banned in the United Kingdom. Um,
Hmm.
Uh, Eventually, it was released though in 2001, which that doesn't surprise me at all. That I have no doubt, because well, obviously, the United States didn't get a really good cut of it for it not right away. It was several years later,
Yeah.
like late mid '80s, I'd say. I think it was released, but who knows when you could actually get yeah, you had to have you had to have known the title and the director for you had to search it out if you wanted to really see it probably back in the day.
Hmm.
Uh, for sure, I was gonna say like can thumb through some more of these photos. Yeah, this is just like it's a friggin' meat locker down there. Then they don't spend too much time on like how this whole Frankenstein thing works. You just kind of like you're just
Yeah.
kind of tossed in it and like this is Frankenstein and he needs people's parts to stay alive or something and
Hmm.
it's implied by blood or genetics or something. He's like
Yeah.
harboring something going on there. And
Yeah,
he's
he sounds like a little child down there, like when
yeah
he's
that's
like crying.
yeah that's that photo that Bob sees in the very first
Yeah,
part of the film of like
yeah.
stay away. Oh,
It's like that's the girl.
right, right, yeah. Oh, and then the remote control car is
Hmm.
also a very minor, a very minor thing. Of course, there's blood, movie blood everywhere. I mean, everywhere,
Yeah.
like everywhere. There is, it's like, it's everywhere. I. This kind
Yeah.
of remind his face and his kind of makeup. Like at one point, you kind of sort of see his eyes, like because Bob is like looking through something, and like he sees
Hmm.
these like very very weird eyes back at him. It kind of reminds me of I don't know, like I don't I wish it's like the Mothman or something, but it's not that one. It's something
Right.
else. Like
Yeah.
I'd have to really like think about it for a minute. Um,
I do like the guy that's in the rental place
mm,
for the for the houses. That guy right there is like, oh yeah, that house, yeah. I kind of figured that that would be a bad house.
yeah, yeah,
and,
right, right.
and that guy was like really enjoyable.
Yeah, boy, that
Um,
takes us back there.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and the there's like the scene, yeah, where the dad's like, I I don't know where the dad's like a sympathetic character because like he goes to like I don't know, like the final days, or like when that final day when he's like trying to piece everything together.
Hmm.
I don't know where, the fact that he picks pieces it all together is like, that's all really there to start with. He should have really kind of pieced it together with the first day.
Yeah, it kind of comes in it comes in small pieces, and then it kind of
Hmm.
it's just to kind of assume that it was always there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
which is just kind of confusing. But some of this gore was like just like this old kind of like old rotting skin and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like when they do the creature is very interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and the whole days where like the mom should have been on her medication. I kind of like the scenes where it's like, yeah, like with the pills and stuff. It's like,
mhm,
oh yeah, yeah, she should be taking her pills.
for sure, yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah, and the other like there's like there's also like parts of the house that are inside that are like the house is literally rotting from the inside out too, which I think is foreshadowing a
mm-hmm,
little bit, like where there's like a scene where I think, oh, that's what it is. It's when right after the coffee scene, and the mom is bringing a tray to the dad, and she's opening the door knob, whatever, and the against the far wall, it looks like it's like mold, or like it's like you guys don't see that, you guys don't
mm-hmm.
fucking see the fucking mold there or whatever the hell that was, or maybe it's just dirt or something. I don't know, but it was like you don't that doesn't bother you at all. All right, cool.
The one thing I have to point out is there's like this box where they keep kind of focusing in on, and I know that they don't have a um, endorsement deal for it, but like fiddle faddle, fiddle
Oh, I saw
faddle.
that. Yeah. I saw that
Yeah.
in one of the pictures here. We were just kind of going over. Yeah, and this is at the beginning of the scene, like where
Hmm.
he sees creepy girl across the way, and she's like,
Hmm.
I told you to whatever. Like when they're going to get
Yeah.
the keys to the house or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Fiddle faddle is a real product. Even today, you can get
Mm,
fiddle faddle. It's caramel corn
mm, right.
that you can get. But yeah, um, but yeah,
Yeah. It was interesting. It was like I said, I think it bears out worth exploring the trilogy, and I think this one was
hmm,
supposed to be the last one for that trilogy,
yeah,
whatever. I brought up an article, I didn't read it, but I just kind of it looked interesting, about how
hmm,
Fucci's Gates of Hell trilogy, Quadrilogy. I don't know if that's
hmm,
true or not, but I just kind of pulled this up. And I don't want to
yeah,
read this like too much because I just want to kind of like want to explore it on my own.
yeah.
Um,
I remember seeing this movie, and
that's what I
I
saw.
know that
Obviously.
I'd seen the other movies and were really excited about them, like
Mm,
City of the Living Dead and uh, The Beyond. So yeah, this was like tied into that, and like when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I like this movie, and then it's like, I think I like it more with the other movies. So yeah, this may be one of those that we may need to tie back into the other movies.
I think we 100% have to, just to do it
Yeah.
justice, because like this was good enough on its own.
Hmm.
It's not my favorite horror movie of all time,
Hmm.
but it held its own, for that you can tell there's more to it than meets the eye, obviously,
Hmm.
than just like horror slash body gore or
It's
whatever.
it's one of those movies where you could go, Bob, Bob, Bob,
Right, right,
Bob,
right.
and have fun with it. But yeah, you need something more to go with it.
Yeah, and I was gonna see one thing here real quick.
Sure.
What what was oh nope, Danny. It was Danny. I was trying to think of The Shining, the little boy in The
Yeah,
Shining.
yeah, no. Bob is this with possession,
Hmm.
possession, and this movie is the two movies with the Bob boys.
Bob is poor Bob. Bob.
Yeah, Bob suffers the most in these two movies, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, everybody gets it in this one. That's for
Mm,
sure. If you're in that
yeah,
house for longer than 20 minutes, you're
yeah.
gonna get it.
That's what I love about this movie is like at the end of it is everybody, yeah. faces the bad in.
Yeah, excuse me. Long day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So yeah, this is we're looking at Italian movies this
all
month,
month long.
and
Yep.
yeah, this month long, and yeah, so this is our horror movie that we're looking at. We're also we looked at an Italian movie last week called The Good, The Bad, the Ugly, which we didn't do too bad on. And if you want to take a look at that, definitely take a look at it. Um, and then next week we're looking at a Giallo movie,
Yes.
and that movie is going to be a Dario Argento classic called
Hmm.
Tenebrae. I'll link Mike with that so that we so you can take a look at that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we have a ever expanding catalog unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost up to 100. Well, we'll be at 120 by the time we do our grab bag, or
Mm-hmm.
thereabouts. I need to go back and I need to go do some copyright cleanup and do some counterclaims for
Mm-hmm.
some BS that was tried upon us. I didn't even see if we got hit with the trailer that we watched, the Marvels trailer. Although
Yeah.
I will say I have a follow up to that. Um, so like I try not to be too harsh on the Marvel stuff, although I
Mm-hmm.
inevitably do. Just me personally, me the person, not me the dad. Me the dad sees it a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different. I did watch that trailer with my daughter, and she was actually interested in it. So that is
Oh,
something,
cool.
and she wants to go see it. And there's enough there for me to kind of put just. Sometimes you have to zero out whatever somebody else tells you or
Mm-hmm.
whatever somebody else's thing. You just got to put that aside, and we will have a father daughter date night, whatever you want to call it, and we'll go see that movie. And we'll see it because mainly now my son is could care less. But he didn't really like the original Captain Marvel movie at first anyway. And I and my but that this is kind of goes to the crux of the point. My kids would have never seen that or heard about anything unless I had shared that trailer with them. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just because they're not Marvel kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're barely DC kids as it stands, to be honest with you. And they're
Mm-hmm.
definitely not Star Wars fans at all. Just not something that had nothing to do with me. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
like you can't tell, you can't make a kid like what they don't like. You can
Right.
thing that, but that's kind of like that. That plays into the bigger part of like there's so many versions of entertainment where you can go get something else. Why would anybody, the days are gone of like maybe I it's probably a little bit too much to say that, but I think the days are gone like where our generation, more specifically your generation than probably mine, we were all about all we had was the Star Wars films. That was it. And then like
Mm-hmm.
that sustained the whole generation and thereafter forever, and it just kept going. Nothing lasts
Yeah.
forever, and I think the we'll get into it in the grab bag a little bit more, but there's going to be something coming. There's a game afoot for the more Harry Potter stuff. But if you're interested in any of those or the this week's
Mm-hmm.
topics, check us out on our grab bag show, where we cover the finer points of pop culture and the
Mm-hmm.
entertainment industry and emerging trends and occasional. What we figured out how to watch a damn trailer where Thomas and I can both see and hear it, but we got
Yeah.
that down pat. I just gotta say, this one was interesting. It's a good kind of change of pace.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I think it was like so you go to the amusement park, and you have like the super duper screaming eagle type ride, and then you have like maybe one that is just a little bit shorter, like the Batman or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go on it a lot. It was kind of like a very herky jerky kind of roller coaster ride of horror for it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's one of those where you kind of know what you're getting into. But yeah, it's but it's so independent that there's still some surprises there, even though you kind of know what you're getting into.
Right.
There's still some surprises there where like, okay, yeah, that's what we're doing here.
Right, right, yeah. That, but by all means, we don't take our word for it. Go check it
Hmm.
out. I'd say this is a
Yeah,
strong recommend from both of us.
yeah, yeah.
Especially if you don't know what to watch. Like this,
Hmm.
you're gonna come out one way or another for sure with this one. This one isn't quite as
Yeah.
black or white as most of them. I think it's more a little bit. I think this one has a little bit more shades of gray than
Hmm.
anything else.
Absolutely.
I would say
Hmm.
than any one scene or point kind of kicks you out of the film,
Hmm.
and you're just like, you just can't deal with this. But
Yeah, yeah.
definitely classic '80s horror.
This may be your more like, okay, this is maybe you're more like, okay, yeah, this is what you're gonna get for a horror for Italian. But yeah, so for your next movie, there's going to be a little bit more controversy for you.
Sure.
But yeah, the Dario Argento is going to be involved, and yeah, you're going to maybe enjoy that in a different way.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
also one thing to note, this one set the scene for '80s, certain
yeah,
'80s horror films, like with just the
yeah.
gore and just how it was approached. So it
Hmm.
definitely set a trend back in the day, and that should be recognized
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
sure. But in any case, I think that's all I have to say. Or you have anything else to add before
No, I
we
think that think
bring
that
up the
that
caboose here and close it
yeah,
off?
I think that does it for us.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, again, I've been Mike,
And I'm Thomas.
and we might keep the lights on for you in the basement.
Stay creepy.